Alright, hey guys, what is going on? It's Intelligent Cycle back here with another live stream commentary, and this time I'm going to talk about three stories real quick. So I'm going to talk about game one between the Pacers and the Thunder in a thrilling executed fashion. We have seen that the Pacers have won by the score of 111 to 110 over the Thunder. They had outscored the Thunder in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. In the third, they outscored them 31 to 28. In the fourth quarter, they outscored them 35 to 25. But the key glaring thing that I wanted to talk about in this game and why the Pacers was able to come back was 9 minutes and 36 seconds left in the fourth quarter when the Thunder was up by 15 points. It seemed like to me that the Thunder was playing to try to just stay alive and survive and try to keep the lead instead of trying to maintain and instead of trying to be aggressive. You can just see that. And then the Pacers just had so much momentum from the third quarter, carried them into the fourth. But mainly, like I said, the Thunder, to me, it wasn't. I've heard a lot of commentary about this. Like, oh, Mark Daigneault, the coach for the Thunder, didn't make adjustments. Or, oh, the Thunder defensively couldn't make adjustments to slow the Pacers' pace down. That's not even the factor of why they lost. The thing is, the Pacers, to me, their momentum carried them. And to me, Opie Toppin making a lot of clutch big buckets off the bench. A couple big buckets off the bench really hit it. And also you got to realize that we got to realize that the Pacers have people can say that the Thunder have can go 11 deep on their bench. They can go 11 deep. They can go as far as they can go to play guys that they never really played, to give minutes to guys like Case and Wallace, give minutes to to Alex Caruso, who's been in the championship pedigree, who has championship pedigree, who's been there and done it in the postseason. You can give Kenny Wembanyama, Aaron Wiggins. You can give all them guys big minutes and everything. That's fine and bows handily. But the Pacers have a deep bench, and they showed it throughout the playoffs that their bench from Opie Toppin or McConnell, Benedict Mathurin getting 20 points. But at the same time, he might not have a game where he's scoring 20 points, but he can give you like 6 assists and like 10 rebounds randomly, because that's just how they roll. That's just how they go. The Pacers, to me, have so many X factors and get guys going at an exact high rate that can put them on a level where it's just like, dog, we're seeing overtly the unthinkable. And then McConnell hitting a lot of clutch mid-range shots too. Mason Best, hey, how's it going? They hitting a lot of clutch big shots too, coming off the bench. Then of course you had like I said, Benedict Mathurin. Miles Turner hit a few big threes, a couple of bank shots off the glass. That really helped us in so many ways. And then of course you gotta give credit to also Naismith and Nembhard, because what they did was, and like I said in my preview, you gotta force Shea Gilgeous-Alexander to his left, because if you give him the opportunity in the lane to get to the right, he's either gonna lay it up or he's gonna draw contact and draw a foul call. And Jalen Williams, you don't really have to slow him down. He pretty much is so explosive and so exonerate. He's able to get towards the basket. He's gonna pretty much be gassed and so exhausted by running up and down the floor. You don't really have to exhaust and slow him down, because he's gonna pretty much gas and tire himself out no matter what the cost would be. So, and thank you, Mason Best, for liking and subscribing too. Really appreciate that. But yeah, for the Pacers, you don't really have to slow Jalen Williams down. You got to maintain a limit of just keeping him at bay and keeping him at odds, because he's going to be the main guy that's a facilitator. He's going to be the main guy that's a facilitator, not Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And then also Lou Dort, he did not have a good game at all. He pretty much struggled. And that's because of not necessarily the Pacers, just the Pacers defense, but the pace and the ability to run down the court pretty much slowed and tired OKC out, where it made them so much attrition. And it also a key thing to watch out for. The Pacers out rebounded the Thunder 56-29. Oh, Levi, you missed the last. Levi, you missed the last uh, stream I did. I said that the Pacers gonna win the series in 6 games, and I explained in that preview of the finals why that I think that they're gonna win in 6 games. And I'm a fan of the Pacers. If you did not, if you didn't catch that stream, so yeah, getting back to it. Oh no, no, you all right. You can just go back. It's all in my it's all in the timeline of my videos. You'll see it there. You'll see it there. But yeah, getting back to this part. So the thing about the Pacers is they out rebounded the Thunder 56 to 29, and that really is what kept them alive in the game. Because when you a team like that, when you force 25 turnovers and they only score 11 off of those 25 turnovers, 11 points off of that, that's not a good sign for the home team. That's a sign where you pretty much are leaving stuff on the table and leaving points off the board. And that's a problem. And that's going to continue to be a problem if it comes down to it down the stretch if you're OKC. But for the Pacers to still stay alive and to still make timely buckets in the fourth quarter while out rebounding them. And also, think about this. They shot better from the 3-point line in the fourth quarter where they couldn't barely make a 3-point shot to save their life in the first half. I mean, that's just unbelievable. That just shows the heart and the guts and will. And let me just say this. With Tyrese Halliburton hitting that shot with .3 seconds remaining on the clock, I'm not gonna lie to you. That gave me so much excitement because, I mean, and not really just excitement like, oh, I ain't never seen that before. No, he's done it pretty much this entire postseason. Where he's hit 5 game-winning shots with less than 5 seconds remaining, and he passed Reggie Miller, and he's like right next close to LeBron James in the most game-winning shots in the fourth quarter with less than 10 seconds and right around 5 seconds remaining on the clock. That is an unbelievable stat for if you're Halliburton to even be in that kind of elite class. That's crazy, especially as young of a player as he is. You being in that kind of a class to hit game-winning shots, that just goes to show you how talented he is overall. And I really do like the fact that the Pacers are very unselfish of a team. My Pacers are very unselfish of a team, and they know exactly what it takes to get to these moments, and they know exactly what it takes to just know exactly what it takes to put themselves in that kind of mode. And when you put yourselves in these best positions in that kind of mode, it goes well throughout the whole entire postseason. So for me, the thing is for them is I think the Pacers overall had done a really solid job in keeping Hartenstein and keeping Chet Holmgren in this game off the boards. They're going to probably have to do something similar. Might not play the exact same style of game like this, but throughout the series, you're going to see a lot of different looks. They're going to throw at Shea. They're going to throw at Lou Dort. They're going to throw at everybody else. And that's going to be a thing that's going to be an issue for OKC if they don't continue to counter moves and make adjustments. For OKC to make adjustments, you got to start off aggressive. You got to start off fast if you're them with those young legs and young bodies that you got. You got to start off fast and you got to start off aggressive. You can't let the Pacers' pace dictate you. And also, if you're the Thunder, you cannot. You got to score off of turnovers. You cannot leave points on the board like that, because if you leave points on the board like that, you get teams back in the game, and it makes it more obvious that they're going to try to counter moves and counter adjust and make things harder on them. And you make things harder yourself by not scoring and not continuing to drive and kickstart what's going to happen. So that's where I see the Thunder trying to make an adjustment is continue to feed Hartenstein, continue to move Holmgren, and Lou Dort's got to get himself involved in this series. That's the thing that I think is going to be the main key for them is Lou Dort's got to get himself going, because if he doesn't, it's going to be a long series for them, and I can see the Pacers probably winning this and taking this I said in six, but if they don't continue to make adjustments in game two, the Pacers probably can take this series in 5 games. They can probably take this series in 5 games. I can see that happening. But it's all about them. It's all about the Thunder. The pressure's on them. If they continue to make adjustments and if they get out rebounded like this in game two, yeah, this series more than likely is gonna probably be over with for them, and I don't think they're gonna be able to recover from it. So yeah, those are just my thoughts from game one, and tell me what you guys think. And my opinions are still as possible, still as follow. The Pacers really good job of continuing to maintain momentum and good job to continue to stay active, not to get rattled, not panicking, not being feeling anxious or feeling anxiety because you're in the finals. That's a really good way of responding despite those elusive amount of turnovers and putting yourselves into that pack of wolves, man, where you're not able to push the game further. So just my thoughts over about that. So we're gonna move along real quick with more stories because I want to talk about this real quick because I just thought this was absolutely crazy. So there was a a talk going around because Shaquille O'Neal had revealed his top 10 players, top 10 greatest NBA players of all time. And he was talking about a first team in particular. So he said on his first team in no particular order, he listed Magic Johnson, his former great teammate, and Kobe, Michael Jordan, LeBron, then himself, and then I guess he left off others like Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the second all-time best leading scorer. Well, he was initially number one on the all-time leading scorer list before LeBron ended up passing it back in 23. And then, of course, he on his second team, he emphatically listed Steph, Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, Isaiah Thomas, and Malone coming off the bench. But even with a solid 10, O'Neal felt compelled to add Dr. J to his second team, even if the Sixers did not include Shaq on his list. So that's where Shaq was making his list. And my thoughts about this is what I saw from Shaq is two things. Number one, this is coming from explicit and implicit biasness. And I think this is coming off of ego and jealousy because when they always had those top greatest NBA centers, people at their position, they always have them at like around number 5, but not top 3 or if not number 1 on their list. And I think Shaq is kind of feeling like a bitter hater and having a lot of jealousy. That's why it felt like to me he left Kareem off of his all-time list. And then also, we're talking about, who will be selected on your team and for all positions. I think this is BS because number one, Kareem not only was one of the all-time leading scorers for 4 years, he had one of the most unstoppable moves in NBA history. Nobody could stop the sky hook. And for you to just not even consider that, even think about that, is stupid to me. And kind of just goes to show you a lot of these older players, arrogance and ignorance, without a shot of a doubt. The arrogance and ignorance of these guys to really, when they're really even breaking it down and discussing, it's to me, it sounds like it's bitterness and jealousy at the end of the day with these guys because you really shouldn't really ask these guys at certain points on who their top list is because they're gonna have a lot of biases. They're gonna have a lot of meritocracy in some things to really agitate the fans and agitate these fans of these certain players because there's gonna be a lot of kids that didn't see Jordan play, that didn't see Kareem play, that didn't see Dr. J play, and only so much is focused on Kobe, or Shaq, or Kevin Garnett, or LeBron, or whatever. They're gonna look at those guys and think that they're the all-time greats, right? It's your job as analysts, and it's your job as professional athletes who are ex-players who retire to remind a lot of the kids how great a lot of these guys in the eras are. Speaking for me, I'm like, I've been watching the league for about 26 years, going on 27. Been watching it my whole life. So trust me and believe. I didn't see, like I said before in the past, when I talked about in my other videos, the whole Lakers and Cavs matchup that could have happened, Kobe versus LeBron thing. That could have been a thing for me of like what a Magic and Bird was that I didn't get a chance to see and watch play, but I watched on documentaries. The same thing with when Jordan and the Bulls was facing against the Suns. You know, I saw the highlights. I saw catch the more important games, and then of course the Knicks and Bulls when Jordan retired, the Luke Collins play foul play that was on Scottie Pippen, which was BS. That was no foul at all. But the thing is, that could have been something that we could have saw a Magic and Bird thing. But we already know the circumstances of what happened with that one, why we didn't get a chance to see it. But regardless of the fact, it's your job as retired players and athletes to remind us how great a certain era was. You guys talk on these talk shows and like what they used to have on TNT, like how soft and cupcake the league is and all this different stuff. This is his words, I might add. This is his words. How soft the league is, how much of a cupcake the league is. How about reminding us on and not even me. I'm speaking in general to the younger fans who are watching the game now. Remind us on how great and how good yesteryears the guys are. You know what I mean? That's why we have these conversations. But for idiots like this to have this kind of talking point and to really spew nonsense like this and eliminate and push guys out of that conversation, it's just idiotic to me. And another problem I have with this list is you can't have a first team and you have Kobe and Mike when they both play the exact same style of play. And both guys are going to have the ball dominant at least 90% of the time. And then you got LeBron in there, which first off, LeBron is 4-6 in the finals. And his first 7 years, he shot less than 45% from the field and less than 30-something% from the three-point line. That's terrible numbers, man, for an all-time great player. And had games where literally he was averaging. He had literally in games in the Dallas Mavericks series, and I literally watched that series, so I can tell you this straight up and down. This man averaged 17.4 points per game in that finals. Terrible for a so-called star player. Terrible numbers. And shot less than 30%, around 26% from the three-point line. Terrible numbers for a star player. That's terrible numbers. And that's to me is just pathetic. So you have guys like that on your list, and who have choked necessarily numerous amount of times, and also choked numerous amount of times in the first round of the playoffs. Literally with the Lakers, choked. I mean, choked against the Nuggets. They literally had 10 games when he was recently with the Lakers, when they lost in the first round to the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. No, bruh. You cannot be on an all-time great list, especially in the top 3, and have that kind of performance. Nah, bruh. Miss me with that. And then you left guys like Karl Malone off there, when literally Karl Malone is a 13-time All-NBA, 11-time All-NBA first team, and literally is a 3-time defensive first team, and I think he's a 1-time All-NBA defensive second team, and was an All-Star MVP and a 2-time league MVP. You left him off the list? Really? And that's where I consider they value championships more than they value when they value overall and statistics more than they value overall their eye test. And also you left off Charles Barkley, which again I can, again you sat across commentary with Chuck, and you played against Charles Barkley before when you was with the Lakers, when he was with the Rockets. So I guess that's kind of a thing. But leaving Kareem off the list, I think is utter blasphemy. Utter blasphemy. But I do agree with the second team. I do like this list on the second team, though, because you included some really good guys. You included Steph, AI, Tim Duncan. That's a really good lineup selected. And of course Isaiah. That's a really good list. Dr. J's best years, as great as he was with the ABA and not the NBA. And although he did, got the Philadelphia 76ers to 2 championships in the early 80s. Don't get me wrong. But only winning that one championship with them. His best years are with the when he was in the ABA. That's just the fact. That's just the bottom line. His numbers were better over there. His field goal percentage was a little bit better, was slightly better over when he was in the ABA, and plus his PER, his free throw percentage, all that was better over there in the NBA. When as soon as he got as soon as he got over into the NBA, his statistics slightly took a decrease, but not by much because he still was athletic and he still had that long arms and was able to drive down the lane and still was able to do his thing. Oh, Nate Shepard, hey, what's going on? So yeah, that goes to show you how much Shaq was kind of like either is full of delusion or wasn't paying attention. And that's just how I feel. That's just how I see it. Tell me what you guys think about Shaq's all-time list of his top 10 list and separated by first and second team. Do you guys agree with his list? Do you not? Uh, and then I'm gonna just read it off to you again. So he had Magic, Kobe, Mike, LeBron, um, and then for the second he had Steph, AI, Tim Duncan, Isaiah Thomas, and Malone, Karl Malone coming off the bench. So that would be his 10. So tell me what you guys think about that. As I will go to my last story of where I wanted to talk about this. And this is the last story I wanted to do before I get off of here because I got some more business to take care of. So I want to talk about this real quick. And I got another video coming out. So I wanted to talk about this real quick. So now Michelle Beadle, who, as you guys must know, she used to host ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. She did Sports Nation with Max Kellerman and Marcellus Wiley. And she hosted an NBA Countdown with Jalen Rose, Paul Pierce now. So Michelle Beadle was on Sirius XM, and she had her own fan duel show with Lou Williams and Chandler Parsons. But now she's fired from Sirius XM because of the Stephen A. Smith drama. So what happened in that situation was with she parted ways with Beto and Cody Decker of the Beto and Decker radio show on The Athletic. And it's going to be including the Stephen A. Smith show, ESPN anchor. And after a certain point in time, Beto did not hold back when she opened the segment by acknowledging the network's move. Michelle Beto pretty much kind of said that she was not happy about the move and the decision. She said and continued, "Here we are, what we're gonna do with our shows because we're contractually obligated to be here, and despite remaining mostly cordial during her show, Beto was a lot more blunt with her thoughts when speaking to front office sports. It's a reminder we got to set pieces of ish to someone. You forgot, there it is," Beto said during an interview on Wednesday. And and Daryl was like, "I should have known. That was a kind of gross. I don't care with being replaced or what have you. It happens all the time. But it's a little respect. It could have been nice. Good Lord, I was totally blindsided. Just really, really embarrassed, to be honest." Beadle, who left ESPN in 2019, then took some shots at Stephen A. Smith, saying that she had problems with the show First Take for years. "I don't respect his work. He doesn't like me," she said. "This goes back to the Ray Rice stuff. He made some really piggish comments on air, and I responded. He got suspended for like 2 weeks. And I think that was kind of the sort of thing at the end of anything," she said. So I remember this segment with the Ray Rice situation. So what happened is, Ray Rice got caught and there was a video camera that got caught of Ray Rice and his alleged girlfriend, or fiance, well, it's bound to be his fiance at the time, had got caught hitting her and dragging her out of the elevator or whatnot. But Stephen A kind of made comments saying, we don't know what happened in the situation that took place and took at hand before. We just saw the aftermath of what he did to her and dragged her out of the elevator and everything. So we got to really take these situations with precaution and not jump to conclusions and rush to things. And Stephen A was actually right in this whole thing and that whole scenario and that whole situation. And kind of Michelle Beadle did not like at all what he said. And my thoughts about this, yeah, he was absolutely right in what he said. He was absolutely right in making things more so well known and well appropriate and well junctured, because again, you don't know exactly what be going on in in the household, man and women household, husband and wife. You don't know what's going on in their household. You don't know exactly what could be taking place. So you got to take things with a grain of salt. You got to take things with things. You got to have that situation handled from the league, from the NFL, from the office, or even from the courts. You gotta let them be the case. We can't be the judge, jury, and executioner in the media to make these kind of alternate reactions like, oh, it's a thing where it's a black and brown thing, or it's like man can't hit a woman can't hit a man. It could be more than that kind of a situation. We don't know exactly what could happen. So you gotta really you gotta take things with these notions and really just understand your surroundings. And so for Michelle Beadle to kind of get her show replaced on Sirius XM with the coach from the Beadle and Cody Decker show, replaced by Stephen A. Smith, kind of just goes to show you that Stephen A. Smith really has a lot of pull and a lot of plug and a lot of popularity. Number one, I'm not really the hugest fan of Stephen A. Smith's commentary at all recently, because he's been making some just asinine comments, ridiculous comments and ridiculous statements. And it kind of goes to show you that who the Sirius XM, who ESPN, who they actually really value. Are they really valuing entertainment, or are they really valuing somebody who has a really honest take? Because really the journalism part, like I said before in other previous videos, is gone at this point, because we don't have that kind of stigmatized or that overall that feeling of just like being educated in the media, because that's what it really is. It really should come down having a mixture of entertainment and actually having a mixture of entertainment and having a mixture of being educated, in a sense where we can learn something and we can pull it back. We don't have that no more. And the problem is, when you give people like Stephen A. Smith and you giving people like Shaq and others, retired players, a platform, Gilbert Arenas, players like that a platform, and you don't know how to use it, and you don't know how to use it in a way where it's justifiable, or in a way where it's functional, then you're gonna have comments that are taking place, that are taking shots at other athletes, and taking shots at other commentary that don't really have no sense. And then Michelle Beadle, in her sense, she to me has always been completely arrogant. It's funny that how she never spoke out against other athletes that been getting caught and getting in trouble. I didn't really see her talk about anything that had anything to do with like Justin Tucker, what was going on with his domestic violence case, or Josh Brown, the ex-kicker back in 2014 for the New York Giants. I never seen her talk about any of these things. Or what happened with Josh Giddey. I never really see with the Oklahoma City Thunder. These isolated incidents, I never see her talk about this stuff. So the fact that she gets mad that about somebody else and about their comments made 11 years ago, when you never really came out and really spoke out against athletes, no matter what, who have gone through domestic assault charges or domestic violence cases or whatnot, you never spoke out against these things. So you can't really try to go back at it with everybody else when you haven't really found out things about your personality. So she always has some kind of a complete malpractice in some instances and kind of just goes to show you a lot of these media personalities and what they value and what they really truly judge. So that's just my overall thoughts about the whole Michelle Beadle getting fired from SiriusXM. Again, like I said, I think that for a lot of things, SiriusXM wanted to go into a different direction. They didn't feel like her and what Decker was saying was on point, you know. But again, if she wants to try to, get people back on her side and really seeing what she sees out there in the sports world, she really gonna have to really keep it 100 and keep it 100 and keep the same energy, you know, as far as calling out players for doing wrong things, for doing wrongdoings. So that's just my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think. And this is the last story I'm going to cover today. Well, cover for now. I'm going to do a couple more videos. And I'm definitely going to go see a few things later on today. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. And I will talk to you in the next commentary, which will be coming pretty soon. All right. Peace.